All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to tackle the Cambridge English listening exam. And look, this is a huge hurdle for pretty much everyone, whether you're at A2 key or all the way up at C2 proficiency. If you've ever felt that little knot of dread in your stomach when the audio starts, you are definitely not alone. In fact, a really popular Cambridge exam coach, teacher Phil, he actually calls it one of the most difficult and most hated parts of the entire exam. So that anxiety you're feeling, it's totally normal. It's a tough challenge for everybody. But here's the thing, you don't need to freeze up. The whole point of this explainer is to give you some clear, really practical strategies. We're going to turn that fear into focus and hopefully into a whole lot of confidence. So, first up, let's talk about the biggest opponent in the room, right? The clock. We're going to look at how you can manage the one thing you absolutely can't control, that relentless pressure of time. I mean, the core of the problem is pretty blunt. You can't stop the recording. There's no rewind button to catch what you missed. You either get the answer while you're listening, or you don't. It's really that simple. But luckily, it is not a hopeless situation. You have two really powerful tools that Cambridge actually gives you to fight back. First, you always get to listen twice, so there's no need to panic on that first go. And second, you have that dedicated prep time before each recording. You have got to use it wisely. This is where you can turn those few precious seconds into a secret weapon. Don't just sit there waiting. Grab your pencil, underline the important words in the questions, highlight the keywords in the answer options, and jot down quick notes about what kind of information you think is missing. This gets your brain laser focused on exactly what you need to listen for. Okay, so now you're ready for the time pressure. Let's actually look at the exam itself, because here's the secret to making this whole test feel way more predictable, and it doesn't matter what level you're at. And here it is, the big aha moment. From A2 key all the way to C2 proficiency, there are only just four fundamental types of tasks you need to master. That's it, just four. These are the building blocks Cambridge uses for everything, from testing the big picture ideas to seeing if you can catch those tiny, tiny details. First up, multiple choice. We all know this one. For your standard 3-option questions, your best bet is to underline keywords in both the questions and the answers. It just helps focus your mind. But for those tougher, higher-level questions, here's a pro tip. On the first listen, just ignore the answers completely. Seriously. Answer the question for yourself in your own head. Then, on the second listen, compare your answer to the options. It's a great way to stop the wrong options from confusing you. Next up is the gap fill, or as it's sometimes called, sentence completion. This task is all about precision. It's designed to see if you can hear and accurately write down specific bits of info, like a name or a number or a particular place, from whatever you're listening to. So, to really master this one, you need a few pro tips. Before you even listen, try to predict what kind of information is missing. Is it a name, a date, a place? And here's a great tip that sounds a little weird. Work backward. Prepare for the last few gaps first, because our focus can really start to drop off near the end. But the most important thing is to listen for cues. They're the key to everything here. So, what is a cue? Let's look at an example. The sentence says, Sally went to an exhibition to see a specific blank. Now, the audio isn't just going to say the answer plainly. You're listening for the idea of why she went, her purpose for visiting. So instead of being direct, you'll hear a cue, which is kind of like a paraphrased version of that sentence. The audio might say something like, a painting she was really keen to find. That phrase, keen to find, that's your signal. It's telling you that the specific answer, in this case, painting, is about to pop up. And that just shows how the exam is testing your understanding, not just your ability to match words. Okay, our third core task is matching. This is where Cambridge really tests if you can get the gist of something, the overall purpose or feeling or opinion of a bunch of different speakers. You'll hear these short little monologues and have to match each person to an option from a list. So here's your strategy for this one. Before the audio even starts, highlight the key ideas in those answer options. On your first listen, confidently cross out any matches that you are 100% sure of. Just get them out of the way. If you're not so sure, just lightly pencil in a possible answer. This way, when you get to your second listen, you've already narrowed down your choices and you can focus much more effectively. Okay, so you know the tasks, you know how to manage your time. But Cambridge adds another layer of difficulty across all of these. Let's talk about how to spot the subtle traps that are built right into the test. We call them distractors. So, what exactly are distractors? Well, they're basically words or phrases that are put in there on purpose to mention the wrong answer options and confuse you. Now, they're not there to be mean, I promise. They're designed to check if you're listening to the full context, not just jumping on the first familiar word you recognize. And they often follow a really predictable formula. You'll hear words related to a wrong answer, but then, right after, that idea will be contradicted with a word like but, or however, or actually. The wrong answers get mentioned, sure, but they almost always get canceled out. So how do you beat them? Two really powerful ways. First, make it a rule. Always listen to the whole context before you pick an answer. Train yourself not to grab that first word that sounds right. And second, sound familiar? Just like with those tough multiple choice questions, you can just ignore the options on your first listen, decide on the answer yourself, and then compare. Phew, we have covered a lot of ground. So let's pull all of this together into your winning game plan. Think of this as your summary, your key strategies for exam day. Here it is, your 4-step plan. Number 1, use every single second of that prep time. Number 2, know these 4 core task types and their strategies inside and out. 3, actively listen for those contrasting words like but or however to spot the distractors. And 4, if you're ever feeling overwhelmed by the options, just listen and answer the question in your own words first, and then compare. See, by understanding the structure, anticipating the traps, and having a clear strategy, you actually take back control. The listening exam stops being this source of fear, and it becomes a predictable challenge that you are totally equipped to handle. So the only question left is, are you ready to press play?